Hello YouTube. So today we are going to be talking about the third season of The Flash. Now I already put up something about this, but in case if you think that I'm faking you out for whatever reason, and this really will be a spoiler-free video, I do want to emphasize this again. There will be spoilers. So yeah, you've been warned. But before we talk about what my actual thoughts on the show are this season, we are going to first do a synopsis. And yeah, I'm not going to bring up my thoughts while I'm talking about what's going on because I found that on numerous takes on trying that it really hasn't ended well for me, and I've just had to keep on redoing it a lot. Mainly because there's a lot going on this season and I just sort of lost track of which thing was happening. So, yeah, we're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna save my thoughts on everything going on this season till after I finish up the synopsis. Probably something that I should do in most of my videos, but yeah, I'm not going to. So yeah, now that I've talked so much about the synopsis, let's actually. First flashpoint happens, then it's dealt with very quickly, but there are still repercussions from it, which are also dealt with pretty quickly. Caitlin has ice powers, which make no sense, I'll talk about it later, and a new villain emerges called Dr. Alchemy. He is creating people, he is pretty much making metas out of people who were pretty normal before, just because they had powers in the Flashpoint universe, and now they're just coming out. I don't know why. He just somehow has a connection to the Flashpoint universe, even though the person that he really is actually doesn't have any powers at all and isn't even a meta. But he's being controlled by a speedster who does not have powers to grant meta abilities to other people. So obviously, seeing as he's just working through this other guy, he can obviously grant powers to other people. Makes complete sense to me. No, it doesn't. So then it's revealed that Dr. Alchemy is actually Julian. Wally becomes Kid Flash, and Julian is being controlled by Savitar after some boring incident that I really didn't listen to all that much. But yeah, something happened during an archaeology excursion that Julian was obsessed with for a bit, and then he went from the obvious choice of being a very wealthy archaeologist to forensic science. What? So, yeah, he's working with Barry because of the Flashpoint thing, which has, even though everything was brought back to normal, it's not back to normal and things have changed. That's what I meant earlier with the repercussions. And Julian becomes a permanent member of the team. Caitlin starts becoming Killer Frost even more. And then they continue to fight Savitar for a bit until he sort of quiets down for a little bit. More things happen. A musical episode happens. Gorilla City enters the picture, and oh god, was that awesome. Keith David is one of the gorillas. I loved that. Seriously, I love Gorilla City, even though it's really, really weird part of the DC universe. I mean, there are weirder things like Killer Corn. Yes, that is a thing, but yeah, still, gorillas having their own city is also pretty weird, especially since they have psychic abilities. Yeah, makes sense to me. But yeah, I love Gorilla City and being able to actually see it, even if it's just on a small screen, I loved. And actually seeing it in live action instead of what's normally done in animation, I seriously enjoyed. So yeah, Savitar comes back eventually, and he shows Barry a vision of the future in which Iris dies. So the team just sort of works a long time to prevent that. By the way, there's a new Harrison Wells. I forgot to mention that earlier, but yeah, he's there. He's not really that important until the last episode of this season, but he is there. So yeah, they keep on working towards trying to stop this event from happening, but nothing they seem to be doing is actually working. So Barry decides to go into the future to talk to his future self about how he put Savitar into the Speed Force so we can just do that earlier. And he finds out that apparently Barry of the future used a machine made by Tracy Brand, I think her last name was, I just remember her as Tracy, who is a scientist who eventually makes a speedster cannon thing, which is able to open up a hole into the Speed Force. How she's able to do that? I don't really know. Just, it's comic book science. It makes sense if you don't think about it. So, yeah, Barry tries to get Tracy's help with that, and Caitlin tries to stop them because she's working with Savitar. Also, she's Killer Frost now, fully. And yeah, they're fighting Savitar for a while. They make speed cannon. HR and Tracy start to develop a relationship. HR dies because the big event that was being built up this whole season, or at least half of it, with Iris dying, was really HR, because he changed his appearance was something that he could do because his Earth has a lot of different technology, which is much more advanced, and I don't know why they have that, but they just do. And HR was just sort of used that to change his appearance to be Iris. So yeah, he died instead. Tracy's sad about that. They try to help out Savitar before he dies completely, although he gets really angry about that for no reason. And then they fight some more, and Iris shoots Savitar, which I gotta say was pretty awesome. And everything seems to be fine. Outside, there was this big Speed Force thing going on, which I skipped over, which was pretty much Wally got stuck inside the Speed Force, so they had to get Joe. So wait, no, not Joe. I'm sorry. They had to get crap, I forgot his name. Barry's dad from Earth 3. I forgot his name. I don't know why. But yeah, they had to get him in order to take Wally's place, so then someone could be left in the Speed Force, because apparently a speedster has to be in the Speed Force all the time for no discernible reason. And yeah, he takes place there, and the Speed Force is apparently hell. I don't know why. And Wally's kind of shooken up about that, but so right about it later. That's really it. But yeah, that comes back later when Barry has to go inside the Speed Force as, well, sort of getting his payback for creating Flashpoint. So he goes in there and is pretty cool about it. And yeah, that's the end of the season. So yeah, a lot of things happen. So, let's talk about it. 1, Flashpoint is skipped over so quickly. This could have been at least a plot point for at least half the season, if not the full season. But no, they decided to skip over Flashpoint because it's not really that cool. Oh wait, yeah it is. It's actually really awesome. And they could have used the other CW heroes in it. I mean, sure, they don't really have all the other superheroes from what's usually associated with Flashpoint, but they could still use the characters that they have access to. That would still be really awesome, and I would like seeing, but nope, that's not happening, and it's just sort of centering around the Flash and what's going on with him during it, which in some sense, I will say, does actually make sense. I mean, yeah, it is a Flash story, so I can see why they would want to put the focus all on him. But what I'm also trying to say is, Flashpoint is really fun due to it being alternate versions of characters that over the years we've gone to know and love. I would have loved seeing a different version of Oliver Queen, a different version of Kara. I would have liked seeing those characters in different environments, even though I don't even watch one of their shows. Supergirl, by the way. So, yeah, I would have liked seeing that. But nope, they decided that Flashpoint just needed to be sort of flashed over because it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, I got really pissed about that, and I still am. Why they skip over Flashpoint? Why even do anything with it if you're not gonna do it to its full potential? All that did was alter the timeline a little bit. If you wanted Flash writers, you could have actually had all this happen instead of just having it all just sort of occur, because Flashpoint happened even though nothing altered the timeline in the way that Barry fixed it after he made Flashpoint. So yeah, it really makes no sense why the timeline was altered. So, yeah, that's my biggest problem with this. I mean, like, yeah, okay, I guess it's supposed to be like if you kill a butterfly in the past and you're affecting the future too, but what did Barry change really? What, he stopped himself from killing Eobard? Ooh, what a big change there. Oh, wait, no, that's something that he's already done, so why did that change? What did that change at all? Why did Barry's memories not get adjusted to a new timeline that he also created? It's not the same one that he originally had, where he went off and created Flashpoint. It's altered in some ways, so technically it should also be like Flashpoint, where memories start to return to him after a little bit. But nope, that doesn't happen here, because then we just had to have exposition be dumped to us on what's going on. I really got annoyed with what happened with Flashpoint here, and that's only like the first few episodes of this season. But yeah, seeing as, you know, I don't want to be talking about that forever, let's move on. So, yeah, Julian has powers and then doesn't. I still don't get that, really. A speedster took control of his mind. I get that Savitar is supposed to be a god here, pretty much, but here's the thing, he's not actually one. He has a god complex. That's it. He doesn't actually have the powers of a god. So, I don't know how he's able to grant powers to other people just because he's controlling somebody else. I really don't get that. And also, what was the point of that, really? What did that accomplish? Him making more metas that he had no real goal with? What did he actually do with those metas? Oh, he had nothing. There are quite a few plot holes now that I'm looking back at this season. So, yeah, I found that really stupid. Also, Savitar, another speedster supervillain on the show. Okay, I got it. The Flash is a speedster, so it makes sense to have his villains also be speedsters because, well, that creates an even fighting. So it makes sense. But when all that you're doing with this is just saying Barry has to go faster again so then he can beat this guy, it gets repetitive and boring. And yeah, okay, they do try and change it up a little bit with who Savitar actually is. Barry, by the way. Well, not really Barry, it's a time remnant Barry, but yeah, it's still pretty much Barry. Although I would have actually enjoyed it more if it wasn't a time remnant, but yeah, I guess that him being Barry is cool too. Not really. So yeah, Savitar is just another Barry that has gone through time in order to change it some more. Why was he created? Because Savitar was created. I really do hate time paradoxes like that. In order for Savitar to have existed in the first place, Savitar would have had to have done something. It's a paradox. And no, you can't just say, well, it happened in the future, so if you view time as a line, then someone could jump back in it to create something. No, you can't do that because in the first string of events, Savitar would have had to have existed. Someone would have had to have been Savitar, not just a time remnant. I really do hate it when time travel arcs just mess things up like this. Why is it that Legends of Tomorrow, a show that takes advantage of the absurdity of time travel in some ways while also following it, just is doing time travel that makes more sense than this show with a time traveling speedster where time travel isn't the focus, but they use it a lot. They should know how time travel works, especially since there's time travel in a universe that's connected to this show. So why on earth can they not get that right? I'm sorry, I'm mainly going through my negative thoughts on this show first. So also, Caitlyn's superpowers. Oh god, Caitlyn's superpowers. Why? What is going on with them? Okay, so Caitlyn, I'm guessing that this is just from the altered timeline, although it could have also been delayed reactions of the particle accelerator explosion from 3 years ago, seeing as Cisco's powers didn't develop until last season, so it would make sense that Caitlin was also a late bloomer, but no, obviously it had to be something that was altering the timeline, because Flashpoint happened. That was the only reason, just for alterations. I really do hate that. And yeah, that's pretty much why I did hate that happening. Caitlin's the main reason as to how Flashpoint does affect somebody, but here's the thing. They never really, I don't even remember what Caitlin did in Flashpoint. And no, I don't think that she was Killer Frost there, so yeah, no, she has no relation to that really, and it's just, a little thing was tweaked. But here's my main problem with Caitlin's powers. They affect her personality. Now, they make it pretty obvious in this show, seeing as Caitlin's never taken by Dr. Alchemy and then turned to a meta by him, seeing as, well, we never see that happen, that she just regard powers as a late bloomer from the particle accelerator explosion. And yet, it alters her personality in order to, whenever she uses her powers too much, she starts developing the personality that she has on Earth 2, which is Killer Frost, who's dead. I don't know how she obtained her personality from a dead person, but yeah, somehow she did. And yeah, I don't get how getting powers alters your personality. It won't. It hasn't for any of the other characters here outside maybe Magenta, but that's because she was already mentally unstable, so yeah, it made sense there. Caitlin is not mentally unstable. Outside of, like, the death of a few people that she's liked or really loved, outside of that, she's normal. She's completely normal. Why on earth did she start developing another personality all because she used her powers? I don't get that. And why didn't it start right away if that's how it works? Why did her powers develop so slowly? I mean, when people get powers on this show, usually they just get powers. It happens pretty quickly, actually, but for whatever reason, Caitlin's powers decided to take their really, really good time, and yeah, I don't get why, and I really don't get why it altered her personality. I really found that stupid as they kept on using it over and over again as just an excuse to have Killer Frost on the show. Here's the thing, if you want to actually have her become a villain, build up to her becoming a villain. You could actually do that. The death of Ronnie could have been enough to have pushed her over the edge, or maybe become inverted at least, so then she would slowly start to descend into becoming Killer Frost. You could have been doing this throughout the course of the show, but no, instead this show just decided to be lazy and instead thought, what if we just make her have powers for no reason, randomly, and yeah, her powers just sort of affect her personality, which is not how any of the powers on the show have worked so far. I really hated that because it's idiotic, and really it's just a lazy way to get more Killer Frost on here. Here's the thing that you also could have done. Not have Caitlin be Killer Frost. Just bring Earth 2's Killer Frost over to Earth 1. It's not like it's hard. You could have just simply done that, but no. Clearly, we needed a dumb explanation that doesn't really make any sense if you actually think about it for 5 freaking seconds. Throughout the course of this season, too, which will probably go into the next season as, yeah, the end of this season, what she's saying? Oh, well, I know. I can't Killer Frost for a while. I need to go find myself. And can I say how stupid that is? Oh, I gotta go find myself after becoming a villain. Wouldn't it be better to just stick around with your friends instead? I think that it would. They're the ones who brought you back to being Caitlin in the first place. Wouldn't you want to be around them? Or do you just feel bad about trying to kill them now? Even though you made it rather obvious that you wouldn't actually kill any of them. But, yeah, I really don't get what she was doing there. So, yeah, let's actually talk about what else happened this season. The musical episode, that was a lot of fun. The crossover episode, that was also a lot of fun. Really not that much to say about those outside if I really enjoyed them. So, yeah. A lot of other things happen here too. HR. Oh God, why? I really want to go into more positive things, but then I remembered, oh yeah, HR exists. Why? Why does he exist? Does every season of the show have to have some version of Harrison Wells? I don't get why. Really, HR here was annoying and pointless in my opinion. Sure, he was important near the end of the season for one episode. Yay. But here's the thing. He didn't develop a personality outside of being annoying to me. Really, there were just only a few moments where I could say, well, I don't mind him that much. But as for a replacement for Harry Wells from last season, he is not. I'm sorry, I really loved Harry Wells from last season. I really enjoyed him. In fact, he's my favorite version of Harrison Wells that the show has presented so far. So to have him be replaced with HR was annoying and stupid to me. If they wanted to get rid of Harry, just get rid of Harry. You don't need to bring him back. Why? Why did they bring him back? Why do they need him back here? What was the point of HR? Like they try and build up that he might be a villain. Nothing happens with that. He's just an author. Ooh, thank you for that. And he gets no development throughout the whole show. He's just the same. He's just a nice person. Yay, good for him. Why do we need you here though? Really, what was the point? I mean, he's kind of selfish and egotistical, but that's really all. And he keeps that throughout the whole season. It's only until the very last episode where him being a nice person is still present, so no develop even happens as he dies. That's really what I hate about his involvement. There was really no point to it. All he does is make suggestions. Good for him. I'm glad that he did something that Joe or Iris could do the same. Really, what was the point of HR? I really want to know. Why was he here? He had no point. All he did was just be there. And why? Why do we need him to be there? Was there a point to this? Nope. All that he really amounted to was the final episode, which I will say I did like him a little bit more at that point, as they did try and develop a relationship with him and Tracy, but that's really it. There was nothing else to him outside of that, and they started developing a relationship. Up, he died. Sad. That's it. It's really it. And I guess I should be kind of sad, but yeah, not really. He died. Okay. I didn't really like him. He was kind of annoying. And then he died. I really don't get why put him on here. So yeah, I think I've talked about all my negatives this season, so let's actually try and talk about positives. I like the story for the most part. Now, as much as I do criticize Caitlin getting powers the way that she did, and why, because I just think that was a lazy excuse just to bring back Killer Frost, I will say I did enjoy her arc at first. Really, it was only until it kept on happening over and over that her Killer Frost side is starting to come out more and more, that I just sort of found her boring. But before that, I thought it was actually pretty interesting. I'm always a fan of a man versus self story, and yeah, I liked it for the most part. It was only until it got repetitious that I just sort of found it boring. But before that happened, I really did enjoy it. So yeah, we got that. And the arc with Savitar going on, I thought was actually really pretty interesting. I liked the idea of a version of Barry that became evil. I liked the idea of it being a time remnant. Especially since time remnants are something that I have considered, like, wait, so those were actually people that we just sort of bring around to die. Wow, that's dark. So yeah, I did like how they actually did something with that. That was really nice, and I was really glad they did that. He had an interesting story, and, well, yeah, I do question how he was able to go back in time to create himself, so then he could go back in time and create himself. Way to get stuck in a time loop there, dude. So yeah, really, even though I do question why or how he would actually be able to do that, I did still enjoy him, and he was pretty interesting. Also, Mirror Master, he finally enters the show only 3 years in, and I was really happy to see him. I've been wanting Mirror Master on the show for a while now. So, yeah, seeing him actually enter, I was so satisfied. Even though he only got 2 appearances this season, I was happy. So, yeah, Mirror Master, I enjoyed him a lot. And then we also got Music Meister. I enjoyed him too. Now, yeah, there's nothing really about him that I actually found that I hated. The only thing that I really didn't like about him a few times was his powers. I don't know that much about Music Meister, but I'm pretty sure that his powers just range in music. I don't know if there's an arc or story where he somehow has the powers of a god, but he apparently can shape reality to his will in order to just teach lessons. And I kind of like that twist, I gotta say. He's not a villain here. I was very surprised by that, if I'm to be honest. I really did think that he was doing this for some sinister purpose, but in the end, nope. He was just trying to get 2 people together. Good for him. And I found him really funny. Especially the line with him, with them just being like, "Can we ever stop you?" No. Oh, okay. I rewound that a lot. I found that very funny. So yeah, I enjoyed him. Gorilla City, I've already brought up. I loved seeing happen. The crossover event thing, I enjoyed seeing that too. There were actually a lot of things I really did enjoy this season. It's just that there were also a lot of things that bored me, and those are things I tended to focus on more, mainly because, well, they either annoyed me a lot or I just got bored. Especially with Jesse and Wally's relationship. I forgot to bring this up. It's boring. Really, really boring. Mainly because Jesse hasn't really developed that much as a character outside of her and Wally are sort of in a relationship, and she's kind of free-spirited. A bit. Not all that much, but it's there. And yeah, that's really all that she actually has to her. She's just sort of free-spirited a bit. So, yeah. Am I supposed to find her and Wally having a relationship to be interesting? Because I really didn't. Jesse Quick is a cool character. It's just that I would have preferred it more if they sort of saved them developing a relationship to a little bit later, so then we could see Jesse develop more as a character as well. Because Wally did get good development, it's just that Jesse, on the other hand, is a speedster on a different Earth that we don't really visit all that much. So yeah, we don't really get that much development with her. That's probably my biggest problem with that. It just sort of felt tacked on just to give Jesse more moments of being a character, and really that's it. There's nothing else to really add to her outside of she's in a relationship with Wally and also a speedster. That is all. Moving on. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens. They just move past her. Yeah. Wally, on the other hand, I actually did very much enjoy. By the way, I'm getting into characters now. So yeah, Wally. He was pretty fun. I did actually very much enjoy seeing Kid Flash being presented, although I do really have to say, I think that the way that he was presented was very, very weird. Did it have to be Dr. Alchemy making him into a meta? Why couldn't what happened to Jesse just happen to him as well? Or just have him be a late bloomer with that? I mean, it's not like they haven't done that with other characters like Cisco or Caitlyn, so why not? Just saying, why not? But yeah, Wally for the most part I did enjoy. And him becoming Kid Flash was very fun. And I especially did like the involvement of him being in there. Although, I don't really think that the Wally presented here would really be fine with the name Kid Flash. It's just they got it, and yeah, I don't really think that fits his character that much. Iris this season, while I have heard a lot of people say that she was annoying, I actually do still very much enjoy. There's not really any problems that I have with her. She's pretty fun, and I like her. She's a lot more normal than all the other characters, and that's probably why people don't like her as much, or at least the most people that I've seen. Because I've seen a lot of people hate on her this season. I don't know why. But yeah, her normality really is probably what I think is doing it. Just, she's always sort of the same. Although I do actually kind of like that. It adds a whole lot more normal to Barry's life, and I do like that involvement. So I do see her point in being here. Although, yeah, there are some moments where I'm just like, yeah, you're afraid of dying, you're not afraid of dying. How do you feel about this exactly? So, yeah, there were a few moments like that for me. But outside of that, I thought that she was alright. I really had no problem with her. And hey, she did get some pretty awesome moments. So, yeah, that was cool. Cisco this season, not really much has happened with him. He's still becoming Vibe. And, yeah, he's getting better and better at it. And yeah, he's still fun. Most that happens with him really is the fallout from Flashpoint, in which his brother died. Dark. Very, very dark. So, yeah, his brother dies, he gets over that, and his brother's never talked about ever again. So glad that that was there. So yeah, that's pretty much the most development that he gets. And also he does sort of form a relationship with Gypsy, because everyone on this show has to be in a relationship, I guess. And Gypsy's awesome. Not really all that much to say about her, I just think that she's awesome. Joe is still a great character, and I love following him. And him getting into a relationship with some other person was actually pretty nice for him, and I did like him actually, getting into a relationship again. Good for you, Joe. So, yeah. We also got Harry. He's still freaking awesome. I gotta say it. I love Harry Wells on this show. I really do. He's a lot of fun. I love his character. And, heck, he might actually be one of my favorite characters, if not is my favorite character on this show. He's great. Another reason why I don't like HR that much, mainly because he just felt like a replacement for him when, if they didn't want to get rid of Harry, they could just left Harry there. It's not like it's hard. But yeah, I still very much enjoyed Harry. And even though he's not in it that much, I still really, really enjoyed him. So then we got Tracy. God, she was boring. She's introduced in like the last few episodes of the season. I forget which. Like, I think that she has like 5 episodes at most. And yeah, her involvement. She makes a gun that doesn't work. That is all. She also sort of forms a bit of a relationship with HR, but yeah, I still found that boring because I don't really know that much about either of these people, so why should I give a remote crap about them forming a relationship? Really, all that was there to do was to make us feel a little bit bad about HR dying because he's annoying, so they probably thought, yeah, we probably didn't do the best with HR, let's add a little bit of a love interest in there for him, so that then when we do kill him off, people might feel sad about it. And that's really all that I felt that Tracy Brain and HR getting a relationship was there for. So yeah, Tracy, you were pretty pointless, but I guess that you developed more of a personality than Jesse, so that's something. Not a good thing, but yeah, that's something. And then we got Julian. I very much enjoyed Julian. Now, I haven't seen Harry Potter, so no, I don't know any. So no, there will not be any Harry Potter, and he was one of the characters in the jokes. I know that he was one of the characters, it's just I don't care about Harry Potter, so no, we're not joking about that. But yeah, Julian I actually very much enjoyed. I liked him as a character, he was interesting, and yeah, I just enjoyed following him. And his more pessimistic attitude about everything, I think, was pretty welcome, actually, as a lot of the characters on this show have been very optimistic unless tragedy comes in. And yeah, when tragedy comes in, everyone's depressed. So yeah, I did like how Julian did add a nice balance to that a little bit more. And then we have the main character, Barry Allen. I liked him. He doesn't really develop that much actually this season. The most that he does is that he feels bad that Iris might die, so he marries her. Or at least they're gonna get married, but now he won't. And yeah, that's nice, but he didn't develop all that much this season. I feel like they had already done something with the idea of what if he kills. So, yeah, I didn't really feel like that was needed again this season, and that's pretty much the biggest question of this season. Will Barry kill Savitar? Nope, Iris will, because that was cool. So, yeah, Barry, I enjoyed. I still very much enjoy Barry Allen. It's just that I think that he hasn't really developed that much this season, and then he goes into the Speed Force. So yeah, that happens. So that means that next season we won't have Barry Allen, or at least we probably won't. So yeah, that's gonna be weird. Is the show gonna go into a spin-off called Kid Flash, and we're gonna be following Wally and what he's up to instead? I don't know, but yeah, they're gonna do something. I'm actually pretty interested in seeing where this goes, because I honestly have no idea. Just right now, Barry left, and yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. So yeah, I am very interested, although I don't really think that he should have been that happy about going into the Speed Force, which was described earlier as hell. So, yeah, keep on smiling as you walk in there with your dead mother. Really, what the heck? So, yeah, that got dark as well, even though they're trying to view it as a good thing. I don't know why, but yeah, so, yeah. That was probably the one moment where I didn't really like him that much, mainly because he just seemed way too comfortable with going into a version of hell with his dead mother. Because the Speed Force thinks that showing him his dead mother would make him feel happy. Yeah. I think that the Speed Force might be a little bit messed up. So, yeah. I really don't know how I feel about that. So, Barry's alright. I still like Barry a lot here. He's still a good character, and he is still pretty interesting this season. And, yeah, I enjoyed him. So, what do I think about this season overall? I enjoyed it. Now, I will say that's not as good as the previous two seasons, mainly because it's starting to get a bit repetitious with always having speedsters as the villain. I've heard the next season is going to change that, and I am very, very thankful for that. It really did need a change, and I'm very glad they finally decided to. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, yeah, so I'm glad they're going to finally be trying to change that. It's just that, yeah, it is getting pretty repetitious at this point. There are quite a lot of plot holes and things that just really don't make any sense this season, but they can be overlooked to me as this was a pretty fun season and overall I did enjoy what was going on. And some of the story arcs were pretty interesting. Now, sure, some of them did get repeated way too much in my opinion, Caitlin, but yeah, I did still very much enjoy what they were doing, and I did still find things pretty interesting for the most part. So, while it's not as good, I still think it's pretty decent. And yeah, I do think they could have expanded on things a whole lot more. Flashpoint. But yeah, I do still like what they did with them overall, and they had interesting spins on some things. And it was also pretty nice to see a lot of classic characters come in this season, like Mirror Master, Music Meister, Grodd finally becoming much more like Grodd. I loved seeing that stuff happen, and we even got a lot of fun stories, like the musical episode. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this season. Not as much as the others, but I still think that's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.